Ms. Wheelwright, are we ready?
Yes. Yeah, like I have my undergrad's in counseling, in preaching and counseling, and my master's is in business administration.
That's my master's.
MBA. I wish I had actually taken some math classes in my undergrad.
Thank you all for being here, and we will start our meeting with roll call.
All right, and I will start with another apology. The roll call was not updated when this was created with the new roll call. So I'll read the corrected version that I have here. Councilmember Lloyd White, he stated he would be potentially late to the meeting. Councilmember Jessica Voigt, she will be absent this evening. I'm sorry? I'm sorry, Mayor Voigt, yes. Interim City Manager Gus Romo. Marked is here. Economic Development Director Kirk Pelser. Chair Betty Rader.
Present.
Vice Chair Richard Beneke.
Present.
Education Member Susan Aguilar Martinez.
Present.
County Economic Development Member Joseph Matthews.
Present.
Post-Secondary Education Member Lysandra Patine. Present. Community Member Jason Doyle.
Present.
Community Business Member Dejanay Taylor. Present. Community Member Cesar Marufo.
Present.
And Industry Expert Member Vicki Brannick stated she would be absent this evening. Alternate Member Kathleen Billinger. Alternate Member Edward Gallardo. Youth Council Member Candice Lenmon.
Thank you, Nicole. Would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Does anyone have any adjustments to the agenda? Or any conflict of interest disclosures? Thank you. Public comment period. Is there anyone online?
I have no written requests. Simone, do we have any callers on the line?
We have no callers at this time.
Thank you. Action items, public hearings and requests. The approval of the minutes. I'm sure you've all read the minutes. And are there any changes that anyone would like to make? Could I have someone motion to approve the minutes as they stand?
Move to approve.
A second, please.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Reorganization of chair and vice chair for 2026. Ask or make a motion. I have a motion for chair, and that would be Joe Matthews. Anyone else with a motion for chair? Come on, jump right in. Anyone for vice chair?
We will need to do a motion, complete the motion for the nomination.
Okay.
For
Chair?
Mr.
and
Matthews,
then go
yes.
into vice
So
chair.
we do have a motion on the floor, and if there's a second?
I second.
All those in favor of Joe Matthews as chair?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Here. Oh, okay.
Just like that.
Just like that. Yeah.
I've had that happen to me before. Do we have any recommendations for vice chair? Mr. Beneke, would you be vice chair again?
I'd be happy to, if you all have me. I mean, sure.
Okay.
yes.
Are there any other recommendations for vice chair?
No, I can't second it.
Okay. Could I have
I'll
a
second.
second? Second, Kirk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. You know, I've done this for 3 years. Okay. Reports and project updates from staff. Downtown painted crosswalks, city council direction update.
All right. Good evening, Chair and committee members. This item is an update on the Downtown Painted Crosswalks project and is intended to formally relay City Council's direction back to the Economic Development Committee. At the committee's November 12th, 2025 meeting, staff presented the Downtown Painted Crosswalks concepts, including 3 design options, the proposed crosswalk locations within the downtown Market Night area, and the preliminary cost estimates based on vendor pricing. After the discussion, the committee recommended that 2 of the design options move forward to City Council for consideration. That recommendation was subsequently brought to City Council on December 16th, 2025. At that meeting, Council reviewed the project, the proposed locations, and the committee's recommendation. Based on that presentation, City Council directed staff to proceed with design option 1 at the recommended downtown crosswalk locations. Council did not request any changes to either the design concept or the proposed locations. Council's action authorizes staff to move into the next phase of the project, which includes engaging a contractor for final design development and installation. We do have a goal of installation prior to Market Night, which is May of 2026. This report is informational only, just intended to close the loop with the committee following the council action. This is a receive and file, but we're open to any comments and questions. Thank you.
I have a question. I'm sure the report that went to the council approved, recommended that the city's gonna do the painting, basically?
Yeah, the city's going to engage a professional to do the thermoplastic design.
So they're gonna send it out for a contract or
Yes.
to have that done? Okay.
Yeah.
Am I correct? There were two recommendations and only one was approved. Did I hear that correctly? Or?
Yes. So at the last committee meeting, there were 3 design options presented to the committee. Committee motioned to move forward 2 of them for consideration, and council decided to go with design option 1 at all 4 locations.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Any more questions? Thank you very much, Jeff. Economic Development Strategic Plan Status Update.
Good afternoon, committee members. So the item in front of you for this report is an update on the economic development strategic planning process. And as a reminder, not that you need one, this committee has been involved from the beginning of this process, beginning with first reviewing the request for proposal that the city put out in order to solicit bids. Then we had a subgroup of this committee who volunteered to actually review the proposals and helped us choose the firm that was ultimately chosen, which is TIP Strategies. And then at the last meeting, we also brought forward the suggested composition of the steering committee that was amended and then accepted. And so the composition of that committee that this group saw not last month, I guess that was in November, is ultimately the one that we went forward with. That group has met once, and I'm going to kind of give you an update on the activities so far. Right now, bear with us because it's still a lot of sort of the behind-the-scenes work, research, background, finding baselines to compare to, other regions to compare to. And as we move forward, it will begin to be work that is a little more apparent externally. So I got a formal update from the TIP Strategies team, and I think during previous meetings I may have pronounced it as TIP Strategies, but we have since verified they pronounce the letters of the acronym. It stands for Theory into Practice, so TIP Strategies. They provided an update last week on January 5th. Everything is progressing really pretty much exactly according to the project timeline that we expected. They don't see any concerns about the scope of the work getting too crazy or about no concerns really about us falling behind on anything. So everything's moving along just as it's supposed to. Currently, there are 3 phases in this process. We've more or less moved through what they call the opportunity phase and are beginning to get into what they call the discovery phase. So what does that mean? Getting the project launched and off the ground is kind of the first step of the opportunity phase. That is checked off, and this is all in your staff report as well so that you can reference it. The project is launched. They were provided with a lot of background information. If it was actual stacks of paper rather than digital, it would have been reams of pages of information that they have a whole team of analysts that combs through it, digs up patterns, trends, and then compares it to national data as well. So they're working right now on that data analysis. They expect to have a data preview for our admin team, which is just our internal staff team to look at our next meeting, which is coming up a week from today. So we'll get a first glance at that. Stakeholder engagement. So we have done some of that and we have a little bit more yet to come. the TIP Strategies team came and visited in person, because all of their consultants are out of state and not all in the same state. They're kind of all over the country. But they came to Beaumont in early December, and we held a series of roundtable meetings organized by industry, as well as an in-person kickoff with the steering committee. So that was kind of phase one, if you will, of the stakeholder outreach. They also did just a couple of initial one-on-one, which is a bit of a misnomer because staff also sat in on it. So, 3-on-1 interviews with currently our current mayor and our current mayor pro tem, who are also, of course, both on this committee. They will be conducting in the next couple of weeks additional one-on-one interviews with our remaining city council members, with leaders of our Chamber of Commerce. So I'll be touching base with you, Miss Rader, on getting that scheduled as well, collecting information that is a little more in-depth than what they would get from a roundtable discussion. These interviews are obviously a little more intimate and personal. And everything that everyone says in any of the roundtables or any of the interviews, while the information may get compiled into the report, it doesn't get attributed to individuals unless they ask for it. If they say, this is my outstanding thought, I really want it to be attributed to me, then they can do that. But we want people to always feel like they can speak freely during these sessions, whether they're interviews or roundtable discussions. So we always make sure to emphasize that. We have a survey also in development. So part of the challenge of a project like this and collecting input from everybody is you reach everybody in a little bit of a different way, right? Not everybody can come to a meeting that's during the day. Not everyone can come to a meeting that's during the evening. Not everybody wants to be part of a one-on-one interview. So we have also a digital survey, which is designed to collect the same type of information. It will, again, all be anonymous. The only somewhat personal information, we do ask folks sort of what quadrant of the city they reside in, so that we can sort of break that up and identify patterns, whether people have different feelings based on where they are in the city. But again, no personally identifying information will be connected to any of that. So that's going to get added to everything that we're gathering from the roundtable discussions and the interviews. Finally, in early February, we will be doing a couple more public events. These will be larger than the original roundtable discussions that we had. We haven't got the exact times buttoned down yet, but anticipate that these will probably be held on February 4th and 5th. These will be town hall style, large attendance, large group, so people will be able to have input, but they won't be able to stand up and speak for 10 minutes because there might be 50 people in the room, and then we'd be there for 2 days. So that's just one more opportunity for us to gain community feedback as part of this process. Because again, it's not our plan, it's not the consulting team plan, it is really the entire city's plan. And we want to make sure that that's reflected. Finally, by mid-February, after that visit where we do the town halls, we expect to have a SWOT analysis. Most of you probably know what that means: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. And that is really kind of the bones of the plan, which will then guide what the implementation plan looks like. Once that's done, then we move into the discovery phase. This is also a little bit in progress too, so these phases overlap just a bit. Again, data analysis as far as our industry and workforce readiness, and then land development opportunities. And we have an upcoming sort of virtual land tours that is getting scheduled with our planning department as well to identify challenges and opportunities as far as our land use. So, that leaves us with, just over the next couple of weeks, what we'll be focusing on is completing these remaining engagement activities so that all of that can be put together. That includes some virtual roundtables, in-person roundtables, additional interviews, and additional community visioning workshops. By the time we have our next steering committee meeting, which is scheduled for the 29th of this month, they'll be looking hopefully at a draft of sort of the analytical findings so far. So looking forward to those who are on our steering committee being able to check that out and see what we've got so far. So we will continue to brief this committee as appropriate. Again, since right now we're sort of in this background research and opportunity phase, if you will, there's not quite as much to report as there will be as we begin to move into learning what some of the actual strategies will be and what the implementation plans look like. This is presented as a receive and file item, but of course, I will answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. James? I do. Okay.
Question. The survey that you are like sending out, that's going to the city, right? Like all the residents?
I expect that it will go out on social media. That's probably our best way to reach.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
everybody.
ask you, like
Yeah.
how you were going to distribute it and get everybody's, feedback, because a lot of people don't like doing surveys.
Most
I'm one
people
of them,
don't.
but I
Me
just
too.
didn't know how like you were going to kind of get everybody to give that feedback, because obviously you need that feedback.
We do. And, if we had a lot more lead time, we could put it in the city magazine with a QR code, but we don't have that kind of lead time. So we expect social media will be the best way to do that. But we'll be consulting with Julie Van Hook to make sure that we're reaching as many people as possible in kind of a short window of time.
Okay.
And of course, the completion rate on surveys it's always low, especially when you're not incentivizing people with a gift card or something like that.
first 50
But if you can
people.
send it out and get it seen by 20,000 people, even if the completion rate is low, it's still a decent sample size.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Informational updates from the regional centers leasing. Regency, I'm sorry.
Sorry, now I'm on. We've decided to, rather than just sort of ad lib these updates, list some by bullet points, and some of them will carry on and some new ones will be added as we go along. But I wanted to touch on a few of them, and then Laura will finish with a couple as well. I was hoping to give you names of tenants that are signed for the Target Regency Center. At this point, it's still only Target and Sprouts that are publicly announced. I had a conversation with the leasing folks from Regency, and they are deep into negotiations and have letters of intent from a whole host of really great tenants. I wish I could name them today, but obviously we can't still. So they know that we're urgent, that we have an urgent need to be able to name those as soon as we can. So each month we'll give you an update at this meeting and share the names as they start to sign actual leases. But rest assured, there's a whole host of really great tenants. The second item I'm going to pass over, this potential loan for a business in the downtown. We had anticipated it going to council next week. For some procedural issues, we're going to need to pull that item until probably the first meeting in February. So I'll have an update for you on that hopefully next month. The third item is the status of escrow. The city council approved a month or so ago the city to purchase some vacant parcels directly east and behind the Biz Hub building that we would use for parking lot for the Biz Hub. And we are in escrow for that property. The escrow just opened about 2 weeks ago, and at the end of December, and it's a 90-day escrow period. So probably the end of March, we will close escrow on that property. And then Laura has a couple other updates for you. Oh, let me do one other that isn't on here. I had a good conversation today with the broker representing the about 20-acre parcel at 6th and Xenia, which is freeway adjacent as well. They are deep in negotiations with two potential development parties that would buy the entire site and reposition it as a commercial center with a variety of retail, possibly hotel and other types of uses. So we think that they will probably select a buyer for that site in the next week or two. And then once that happens, we can start moving forward with a site plan conceptually for that site as well. So that was good, somewhat unexpected news that I got today. So we'll share more as we go along with you on that as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and just a couple more additional updates. One, the lot adjustment, and if you really want to learn more about this, you could stick around for the Planning Commission meeting at 6 p.m. Because this will be heard at Planning Commission this afternoon. This is a lot split, which we anticipate will unlock some development opportunity because it's really been a hindrance that the lot it was effectively sold as one parcel, but really legally it should be two. So this is really just kind of an administrative cleanup item that needed to be done, but this is at First and Highland Springs. So keep your eyes on that. There's no official project or anything affiliated with this property as of yet, but we are talking to some developers who have some interest. So I would keep your eyes on that. And then finally, Kirk and I will be speaking next Tuesday on January 20th at the Urban Land Institute's Inland Empire Trends event. This event goes from 1:30 to 5:30 in the afternoon. And if you would like to go, tickets are buy two, get one free right now, so you can bring your friends and colleagues. But it's going to be a pretty great event, broken into about 3 parts. Dr. Chris Thornburg, economist, if you've ever heard him speak, he's quite dynamic, sometimes controversial. He's going to be the keynote speaker, delivering kind of an economic forecast or update. There's going to be a panel on power, water, and infrastructure. And then there is a panel of city economic development leaders, and that is the one that Kirk and I are sitting on. So we are working together to craft our message as beautifully as possible to sell the opportunities that are here in Beaumont without making it sound like a sales pitch. Because this audience has everybody in it who's involved in the development pipeline, from brokers, developers, planners, funders, everybody. So this is definitely the crowd that we want to be speaking to and making a good impression, and we are the only city that gets to have 2 people up there. So we're going to use that as a demonstration of how committed our council is to economic development and smart economic development in our city. So if you'd like more information on that, hit me up and I can send you the link that can get you that ticket discount.
And where's that going to be held?
Oh, that's an important point. Thank you for asking. That's going to be held at UCR Arts in Riverside.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. James or Mr. Peltzer? I have one question. Is the Regency Center, is the target still on target for 2027?
Yes, I think March, April of '27 was their anticipated date, and if they can get open before that, they certainly will. But if you, I've taken to, when I come to work every day, I used to get off downtown, but I get off at Oak Valley every day because each day the site looks further and further advanced, and so pretty exciting. So as far as I know, Gus, they are on target in all respects for their process.
They're meeting every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very
Yep.
much. Reports from committee members?
May I
Yeah,
just follow up with a
certainly.
question, Kirk, on that one? And I apologize, it's my first meeting in probably a year for economic development. But with that project, do we have a time frame on when the transportation infrastructure will be start impacting
When the actual,
the signals and
the
stuff
offsite
like that?
improvements would be,
Yeah, offsite improvements.
I think that will happen as you start to see the vertical development come. Gus, does that sound? Yeah.
Yes, there's different conditions of approval that'll trigger when the signals have to go in and when the sidewalks and all that happen. But you'll see that before the actual frame-up starts going up.
Okay.
So, absolutely.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Good question. Are there any other questions? Thank you. Okay, now we'll go to informational updates. Dejanay, do you have anything? Mr. Marufo? Gus?
I'm good.
Joe?
I'm good.
Cassandra? Jason? Susan?
On behalf of the Beaumont Educational School District, we are holding our CP Typical Education Showcase on February 4th. This is an opportunity for you to come to see our students in manufacturing, engineering, culinary. We have 11 pathways. It's a meeting to go through and to see our students. You may leave with something in manufacturing and culinary. And so please, if you can, it's from 5:30 to 3:30. But it's a great opportunity. And these are students, workforce. These are students that are going to impact our workforce. So if you have the time, I invite you and encourage you to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Mr. Beneke?
What was the date?
It's February 4th. It's a Wednesday, and it'll be held at the Beaumont High School. It'll start in the theater, and then guests will be asked to attend different classrooms.
Susan, will there be an email going out?
There's actually a flyer on the city website at the calendar events, but I will be sending out an email. Laura James and Kirk have already received their invitation, so I can extend that one to council. Thank you.
Thank you. And then on that morning, in case you're not doing anything, is the chamber breakfast. Lance Christensen from the California Franchise Tax Board will be speaking on taxes. So that's a timely conversation for all of us right now. Thank you. Is there anything else that anyone would like to contribute? Do we have any topics for future agendas?
Madam Chair, I would like to see, there's a lot happening in this community, and I really think what's important to recognize is that the infrastructure, the transportation infrastructure in this community, it's good, it's on the planning boards, but I think, when I look at where Target's going and Sprouts, and I look at the Oak Valley Bridge there, and, it just backs up and it backs up and it backs up. And I know there's things in the works but if there's just any way we could time these things a little bit better. I go down to places like Temecula and some other communities here, and I see these streets, they're out nowhere, but they're all big boulevards, and they got parkways and everything. They're out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know how they get all this money, but they're ready for development. They're ready for development. You could see it. You just drive in there and you go, someday, 10 years, 5 years, or whatever, these are going to be stores and buildings and workshops and everything else. And I guess what I'm thinking is maybe a little update every now and then to kind of just on where we're going in that area.
Yeah,
And,
we would be happy to have Robert Vestal, our Public Works Director, come and give sort of a big picture status of some of these major infrastructure improvements. I will say, for many, many years, Temecula struggled because they had one freeway crossing. If you remember that, but I do. So it does take years to get those kinds of things approved sometimes. So they've got 3 now. They really need 4 or 5.
They do.
But there was a long time, there was just one. So, and they were growing like crazy. So it's just, as you know, sir, the funding commitments and the challenges of getting the Penn grade funded and Potrero finished are just enormous. And and I give a lot of credit to our public works people and our grant writers, have been incredibly fortunate to secure amounts of money that are sort of fantastic for a city our size that's growing. But the challenges remain, and we're keenly aware of them.
I just think, as you progress and you get this information out, then I don't know, it just gives an impetus to people to continue to pursue that, I think. Instead of people just sitting in traffic and moaning and complaining, they need to know that people are doing stuff and that things are happening. It just takes time, like I say. I understand that I've worked with governments for many years. And of course, your big critical factor is always financing. You have to finance these. Nobody's going to give you a lot of money. But there is money available, and I know the city is doing a great effort in trying to get those funds here. So just from the standpoint from this committee, I think it would be helpful, not every month, I don't think we need it every month, but maybe twice a year or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and there's some significant milestones that are being reached right now with Potrero and Penn, so we'll be happy in the next month or two to have Public Works give a kind of a high-level
I
overview.
appreciate that.
Yes, and sir, we understand for the public, a lot of times, they'll see what's out there and they'll say, when is this going to get fixed, right? Or when is it going to grow? But on paper, if they come in, they ask staff, they'll be able to see that there's a lot of improvements already mapped out, already in design, that haven't actually gotten to that level. So I would suggest that if you ever get a resident saying what's happening here, send them into City Hall. We might be able to show them progress in those areas that they're looking at.
Theoretically, that's a great idea, but in reality, that's very difficult to do, and people are busy. And when people find out I'm on this committee, they ask me questions like that, and as a resource, and we're all resources here with our different constituencies, we should be able to get that information out too as well. And that's why I think it's important for us to have that information periodically. We don't need it every month, but I think just periodically, and I'd like to say when somebody says, what's happening to the Oak Valley Bridge there? I say, well, we got this plan about a year from now, or maybe a year and a half from now. And in the interim, we're gonna get these signaling things going and get the signals, adjusted to allow more traffic flow. And it just makes sense, I think, to kind of just have everybody aware of what's going on as much as we can. That's a difficult challenge for any entity to have awareness going on, but I think it ought to be a priority for us to make the effort, if nothing else. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Mr. Beneke. Anyone else? Okay, we will call this meeting to a close. You want to do that?
Sure. My first official duty. I recall the meeting to close at 4:39 p.m. Thank you.